Welcome to Unfiltered, Pixel Pro Audio's weekly show. Should you be buying a new or used interface? Leave a comment below as to what you would do. But in the meantime, we're going to tell you what we think. Hey guys, welcome back around the drum. I'm Tay, this is David, that's Jay, and today we're going to discuss why you should buy a modern, newer interface versus getting an older one, or why you shouldn't.
Good. That was really good delivery. Again, the idea of a personal recording interface that you can set on your desk, like a simple 2-channel unit, like a lot of these are. Actually, most of these are. Mm-hmm. The idea of that is about 20 years old, I would say, when we transitioned from the cheap 4-track cassette-based media to people going to these things instead. And with it came a big upgrade in sound, arguably, but I think that's very true.
A lot less noise.
A lot less noise, a lot cleaner sound. So those interfaces now are 20 years old-ish. Mm-hmm. The original MBox one came out, I think, in like 98 or 99, something like that.
Yeah. And
so now we want to know, like, you know, after 20 years of recording technology, is it worth upgrading? Why should you upgrade, or why should you not? And I think we'll have some pros and cons. I think mostly what we're going to say is that you probably should, especially if you've got one of those original interfaces. It probably doesn't work with your computer anymore anyway. And that brings us to compatibility.
Right.
Number one,
compatibility. Go ahead, David. Take it away.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of these interfaces, like this one in particular here, this has a FireWire port. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but how many computers do you guys know that have FireWire ports these days?
I had to add my own card to get FireWire on my computer.
There's not too many.
But the interesting thing with that is, for a long time there wasn't, but now everything's coming with USB-C. So now all of a sudden compatibility is there again, because that's also FireWire compatible.
But what is not compatible with a lot of these is the OS.
Ding, ding, ding. Yep. That's the big problem, is the drivers are out of date and won't work with Windows 10 or the latest Mac OS. And with the way Mac does updates now, where most of them are getting pushed out for free, it's like a lot of people are upgrading their computers, and then all of a sudden their interface doesn't work anymore, and it never will again. So it's time to sell. And so that's probably the biggest reason most people upgrade right now, is because of compatibility issues.
Yeah. Like, how many of these would work on this Mac behind us here?
I don't know.
I think the MBox 3 should.
Probably.
The Fire Studio might. I don't know about the UX2. I'm pretty sure the UX2 will.
Therein lies the rub. And if you look on their websites, they're all going to say they're not supported anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So even if they do work,
it won't be officially supported, so you won't get help.
And then who knows which update is going to kill it.
Right.
Yeah. So this is a MBox Digidesign or Avid MBox 3 Mini. That's a PreSonus Fire Studio
Mobile.
Fire Studio Mobile.
Fire Studio Mobile.
Fire
Put
Studio
all
Mobile.
three of those words together.
Mobile Studio Fire?
Yeah.
And then you get the Line 6. And then, guys, we have the Line 6 UX2.
And I don't think that's compatible, is it?
I highly doubt it. It hardly works with Windows 7.
Okay, so there you go.
So, talk about Digidesign. They turned into Avid, the name brand eventually. But Digidesign MBox 1 came out, like you said, 20 years ago. And at the time, that was Focusrite.
Well, Focusrite made the mic preamps.
Right.
And I think that was really the beginning of Focusrite getting into recording hardware. And then obviously they came out with the Scarlett line a few years after that.
And you would keep telling me way back in the day, like, just get an MBox 1. They actually do sound good. The preamps sound good in that. Mm-hmm. So, they were very inexpensive at the time. So there's the number one reason why you should buy a used interface, is if you do have compatibility, it's a lot cheaper to go this route.
Cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You can get into some of these interfaces for $50. So if you're just looking to do a quick dirty thing, and you know it's going to be compatible, why not? It might become uncompatible, but for $50.
And David, you could argue with me here, but the preamps on these things are good.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay, yeah.
Over time, maybe they've gotten better. We all know that, but still, the older ones do hold up with the preamp sound.
Yeah, so we get in these 4-track recorders, and when I test those versus testing these always sound a lot cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
the preamps on those old 4-track recorders were not good.
No, and the noise from the cassette is just terrible.
Yeah, there's all noise being introduced all along the signal. And a lot of people like that because they want a lo-fi sound.
Yeah.
But I would rather have cleaner.
Well, and you don't have to clean tape heads on these and demagnetize them to use it.
And they don't have rubber bands inside of them that move and break.
Gears.
And gears and motors and all kinds of moving. I mean, basically moving parts are the death of everything, right?
Yeah.
So no moving parts.
But like you guys were saying, like the idea of a mobile home recording interface, it's like 20 years old. So a newer interface versus an older interface, the converters are going to be so much better.
Okay.
Like back in the day, the converters were only 16-bit, and now they're 24-bit standard. And the preamps have a lot more headroom, a lot less noise. So it's progressively gotten better. So there's another reason why you should buy a new one versus an old one.
Yep.
Can you talk to me about the headroom on these? Like, have they gotten better over time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a lot better now.
Yeah, it's just...
I mean, the headroom, though, like the jump to these from the cassette-based stuff was huge, like the biggest jump of anything. But then over time, I think over the last 20 years, there have been some... if you compare the beginning to now, that's a big jump.
Yeah, like if you compare the headroom on one of these interfaces to the Clarett we're using back here, it's ridiculous, the difference. I mean, the Clarett is just so much cleaner. It's got a lot more headroom, a lot more gain.
And for the newer folks out there, when we say headroom, what are we talking about?
The amount of level you can go into your converter before clipping.
Right, so between the noise floor and clipping.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else
headroom. Can I talk about one?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me too, and this has been the case from the beginning of time, from when these first came out between new and used, is that the software usually doesn't come along with used gear. Yeah. Sometimes it does, like the UX2, the Line 6 UX2. You can download the Pod Farm or whatever it's called software, right. But most of the time you don't get the plugins,
right.
And those are worth a lot of extra value. I mean, oftentimes that can be worth hundreds of dollars at least. And so if you buy new and you buy a new modern interface, you're going to get the latest software and the latest plugins, and they're going to be, the license is going to be yours, and that's a huge plus.
Yeah, you get a DAW too, and
you get a DAW. Otherwise, you're going to be on your own finding your own software.
Yeah, with the PreSonus interfaces, you get the latest version of StudioOne Artist. Otherwise,
which is great software.
Yeah, there are some free ones like Pro Tools First and StudioOne Prime, so you can use those if you get a used interface. But they do have a lot of limitations. But if you only need a few tracks, then that might be worth it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think software is huge now. You can get a bundled item, the interface, and then the DAW that you're hooking the computer up to. You get it on there, and you're all set to go.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your favorite thing, David. Is
favorite thing.
Expandability.
Yeah.
And can you talk about maybe just like the ins and outs too on some of these modern ones also at the same time?
Sure. They typically have XLR and TRS combo jacks for most interfaces. That's still common. What we're seeing a lot more of though is ADAT expandability. I mean, that was a thing for some interfaces for a while, but typically what a lot of people would do is just expand with FireWire ports so they could connect up to 4 FireWire devices. But now since FireWire is pretty much gone, it's all about ADAT and how many 8-channel ADAT ports you can get.
I just want to say real quick that that was impressive how quickly you jammed that thing up there and took it off there. It was like, you're a lizard person for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking. I'll have to watch the video later.
Yeah, watch it. It's impressive.
Okay. Maybe I'll put some sound effects on there.
Yeah.
Just off the top of our heads, what new interfaces are we talking about here? Like, because we've, given some examples of older ones. There's a lot of, the DigiDesign M boxes, the M Audio ones.
I'll talk about the new Scarlett 3rd gen interfaces. A lot of those, like you start seeing some of the interfaces with that are in this tabletop form have ADAT expandability on there,
which is cool.
Which is really cool. Like the interface I have, which is the Audient ID44. It's a tabletop interface like this. Now it's more expensive than these, but it has. I can do 16 channels into that of ADAT, and that's one of the main reasons I bought it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, we all have the 44.
Yep.
Well, it's got
Full
all
disclosure,
of
the
got,
command was open.
yeah, sorry, but it's such a great interface because you get that tabletop functionality and the expandability to run a full studio off of the thing.
Yeah.
But on that tabletop unit, you get more controls than like what you're getting here. You can have two monitors hooked up. You get dim, you get talkback, and all these things that you want to have. And so all that stuff for me was taken care of with one interface, and I was ready to upgrade as time went on with more preamps and stuff. And that just makes a lot of sense for how people work, I think.
Yeah.
I think interfaces are going to move that direction too. Even these smaller 2-channel ones, they're going to have expandability, ADAT out. What's the other Audient one that has?
The ID14 and the ID22. Okay. The Focusrite Clarett line, like the Clarett 2 Pre, has an ADAT port as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you though. Why do you like your older, maybe last gen or first gen interfaces? Why are you
gen?
Why are you sticking with that? We want to know why you like these things. Is it the sound? Is it the compatibility? Is it the form factor? What is it? So please leave a comment below and tell us why you like your old interface, or if you're moving on to the future here and getting a brand new one.
So if you guys are looking for a new interface and have questions, give us a call at the number right here, and I can help you out. I'll help you pick out the perfect one for your setup and your needs.
Ask for David.
La David.
So head over to pixelproaudio.com/allaccess and get signed up for our newsletter. You'll be eligible to win our free giveaways. And you'll also be notified about the latest Unfiltered episode. So go check that out, guys. And thanks for watching. We'll see you around the drum next time. So today, I'm Tay, this is David, and that's Jay.
So we're just saying the same thing twice?
Well, we could change it up. It'd be like...
Talking. What do you think?
Yarr. Okay.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. What was I going to say again?
Okay. And I just...
See, that's fast.
Okay,
Well.
So...
Or...
Well...
That's going in the bloopers.
Casual Friday.
I think it looks fine.
Looks great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Tay.
Fan.
That's the fan. And that's Jay.
Yep. Don't laugh at that. Don't encourage it. Or I'm just going to tell the truth. Should we start over? I think we should start over.
Okay.